Danny Meyer has done it, listen to this, 25 times, and 24 of those places are still open.
His remarkable success is based on the idea that hospitality is just as important as the food. The owner of some of New York City's most popular restaurants is on this month's cover of Wine Spectator magazine. Danny Meyer, welcome. Yes. Great to have you here.
Ooh,
thanks, Charlie and Gail.
There is something, your restaurants go from museums to places that are really out on the street. Is there one secret you think has given you this success in the restaurant business beyond hospitality?
Well, I think, first of all, I adore great food, and nothing makes me happier than to see people enjoying really good food and wine and milkshakes and jazz music. Yeah. But I think at the end of the day, there is so much good product out there in the world today, and the companies that tend to do the best are the ones that make you feel the most welcome.
So the experience is as important as the food?
I think the experience today is trumping the food.
Do you?
I really do.
The food.
And this is not a way to say that the food should not be absolutely critical. Yeah. Everybody's tweeting about food and blogging about food.
And
taking pictures of it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the one thing you cannot take a picture of is how I made you feel. And that's the reason that you'll come back.
So you look for people that give good HQ, which I love this, which stands for?
Hospitality Quotient. We have an expression which is hire hard and train easy. And the notion is that if we put all of our eggs into the basket of trying to identify the people who, over and beyond being great grill cooks and great servers and great sommeliers, are really doing what they do because nothing makes them happier than to make you happy, we win.
How do you find that?
That's what you're looking for.
Well, we've learned a number of interviewing techniques, and it all comes down to the same 6 emotional skills every single time. We know what they are, and
they are.
Or you could get my book, Setting the Table, to find that out. No, but basically, it's exactly who you are. And everyone on this show, from the minute I walked in, has a high HQ. Yeah. People who are kind, they're curious, they've got an amazing work ethic, they're empathetic, they're self-aware, and they've got integrity.
And we want you to know that we're very glad you're here. But I'm very fascinated about your background, Danny, because I just assumed it was a food background, and I'm reading that if things had gone differently, you could have been a lawyer. Here you are getting ready to take your LSATs, thinking, I don't know. Tell me about that.
Well, I think I'm a good example of somebody who really was privileged to follow his passion. And I was a poli-sci major at Trinity College, and I loved politics, and I was about to follow the path that you were supposed to follow, which is get a law degree and then go do that stuff. And it was literally on the eve of taking it. I was about as depressed as I've ever been in my life. And I realized, why waste the one life I've got doing something that just doesn't strike my passion?
So how did you find your way to food?
Well, I was lucky to be having dinner with an amazing uncle who said, why don't you do the thing you've been talking about your whole life? And I said, what? And I was blind to it. And he said, all I've ever heard you talk about is restaurants and food.
Danny, you didn't even know what it was. I love you saying to your uncle, well, what is that? What am I passionate about?
Well,
I think that's so funny.
And the funny thing is, I think so many of us have this thing inside of us, and we repress it because we do what we think we're supposed to do. And I just feel it was the single greatest gift of my life.
Let's talk about Shake Shack for a second. To go there is not the experience in that case, because you wait a long time in line. You're waiting to get a hamburger and a milkshake, correct?
But I think that is the experience, Charlie. I think that one of the things, and I think Apple stores have shown
the experience is waiting in line?
I think Starbucks have shown it, is that people are pack animals, and they love being with other people.
Are.
Yes.
And if the benefit of going to Shake Shack is you get to meet someone and do something with other people.
So waiting in line for an hour for a hamburger.
And then at the end of the rainbow, you get a Shack burger. I mean, that's an experience.
Charlie, I have waited in line for an hour for a Shake Shack burger. It's true.
And you met people, and the experience was good. And you said to Danny, thank God I had to wait an hour for this. No. If I'd gone in there and that hamburger was ready and I could have eaten it right away, I would have said to Danny, how dare you did this to me?
How dare you
I just learned something new from your producer this morning, who told me that
that's dangerous right there.
She would buy a dozen of them, put them in her freezer, and then put them in the toaster oven. I don't recommend that.
Are they as good when you do that?
The burgers,
yes or no?
The burgers are amazing, and I have waited, and you do form a bond with the people. We're all saying, why are we waiting in line? It's because it's a really good burger. But you've had great success. We were talking about 24 out of 25, but you say there's no such thing as failure as long as you fail with integrity. I love what that means. Explain.
Well, I think when we closed our one restaurant, Tabla, we decided this is tough. Right. It's tough to look all the employees in the face and say, you're not coming to work in 3 months because we're going to.
And you didn't close it overnight either. You closed it out.
No, we gave them a quarter of a year notice, which was doing it.
How long was it in business before you closed it down?
13 years.
13 years. There you go.
So I don't consider it a failure, but it really proves the point that you hear from everybody all the time. There is no success if you don't fail.
Yeah.
You got to first learn what it feels like to fall down, to actually enjoy. It's like when I follow my St. Louis Cardinals. The winning streaks are better after you've seen all the losing streaks.
Yes. You and Andy Cohen. Yeah. He's a big St. Louis boy, too.
It's great to see you, Danny.
Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Gail.